Hello, children of the popcorn. It is I, Mr. Popcorn, good friend, co-host, podcast partner is with me. What is their name?
My name is the Baron, and I'm sitting here getting my head chewed on by a rabbit with apparently myxomatosis, but
Hmm.
not.
I work closely with Peter Jackson. Well, I did. Yeah, as you can see from the picture.
Yeah.
What is the picture, listeners? We'll get onto that in a moment. But Baron, sorry, I have to commandeer things for a moment because
Sure.
what is the date? It is January the
17.
17th of 2025. I don't know if it happened yesterday. I don't know of the exact time and date, but I woke up to
Ah, yes.
very bad news on Facebook
Bad news.
today. Rest in peace, David Lynch.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a big one. This is not just for horror. This is cinema. This is art
Yeah.
has lost a big one. Just art in general. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I love the guy. I've grown up with the guy. I mean, he is the stylish, dark surrealist of cinema. And yeah, he's a big part of my whole artistic experience and
Yeah.
creating me as a human being, pure and simple from Twin Peaks beyond. Yeah, I wish that it had been more output at the end, but it was purely because artists like David Lynch, directors like David Lynch, studios ended up not giving him money to make feature films, certainly not
Yeah.
in the way to which he started. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's really sad. That's really unfortunate. He still created art, of course. He never stopped and he still had an output at the end. But that aside, that aside, thank you very much, David Lynch.
Yeah.
Amazing
David
artist,
Lynch.
amazing human, and you will be missed. Yeah. Baron, did you want to say anything there?
Oh, look, my entree to David Lynch came obviously with the TV series that he's most famous for.
Hmm.
Agent Dale Cooper was one of my heroes.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
one of the first interactions I ever had with a celebrity, as it were. I sent a fax. This is telling my age, and it will also tell my previous dalliances with conservative politics. But I sent a fax to John Laws with a drawing. And that said, "I killed Laura Palmer, and Bart Simpson is next." And had a picture of a gun pointing at Bart Simpson's head. I was very, very much under the influence of my conservative voting family at the
Yeah,
time. I
yeah,
have
yeah.
grown and learnt since then. But it was one, it was the first autograph I ever got was John Laws, and that's still something to be kind of cool. But yeah, politics aside, no, made a huge impact on the artistic scene, and he'd leave a hole
Mm.
in the artistic scene. Uh, Twin
Yeah.
Peaks was formative. Like it was there were shows that were talked about at school the next day after they aired, the big gig and that sort of thing, but nothing ever got as much water cooler talk in our school
Yeah,
as
sure.
Twin Peaks did.
Was that before X-Files
Yeah,
here? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it was. Okay, okay. I circumstances in which I was living, I was not allowed, could not access Twin Peaks. So X-Files was first for me, but this was
Yep.
next. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and at film school once, David's stuff is shown all the time. Lynch's
Mm.
stuff is shown all the time as examples, of
Yeah.
course. Do you remember the start, the opening credit sequence of Blue Velvet?
Oh
The
yeah, yeah,
50s suburbia, and then the camera goes down to the writhing darkness beneath. Yeah.
yeah.
And to sum it up in terms of my artistic output and outlook, etc., that was his biggest contribution towards myself. That's what I took the
Sure.
most from it. To sum it
Oh,
up, yeah, his influence.
was
Yeah.
was a visual auteur.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
totally.
Losing that brain from the planet is
Yeah,
it's heartbreaking.
it is. It is. And we've already lost two significant Davids now. That is Bowie and Lynch. Cronenberg. Hmm.
Yeah, has someone checked on him?
Please, because he's no spring chicken. And
No.
he's in a similar situation to Lynch as well at the end of his career as well, which is
Yeah, yeah,
unfortunate. Yes, support cinema. I tell myself, I'm
yeah,
telling you, children, yes, of the popcorn, in the real way, support these artists. Yeah.
yeah.
Blockbusters, whatever. But, these independent auteurs who have basically helped mold and create and shape the
Yeah.
landscape of cinema. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the
Yeah. Yeah.
past 50 or so years. Yeah. Yeah. Rest in peace, David Lynch. Thank you.
100%.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually,
You just had to.
I would like to call one out as well. It's not a film, and it's not particularly horror-y, or horror-y at all. But yeah, we lost a guy, an Australian entertainment icon called Simon Townsend this week as well. He did a TV show called Simon Townsend's Wonderworld back in the
Okay.
80s. And it was basically kids journalism. So kids would write in with questions, and then he would send reporters out and they would do reports on it. And it was he never talked down to the kids. The reports were all taken perfectly seriously, and it was a huge part of my childhood. Being inquisitive comes from him, and he ended every show with, "And just remember, the world really is wonderful." And yeah, so we lost Simon Townsend this week, and he was amazing. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, rest in peace there, Sir Townsend.
Mm.
Uh, and on a happy note, happy birthday, John Carpenter.
Yes.
He's still going. He's still kicking.
I think he might be a robot at this point.
Yeah, hard to tell. Hard to tell with that guy. Yeah. Keep playing those video games. Just relax.
Yeah, yeah,
Just relax. Throw us a synthwave album every 5 years. Just play your
yep,
games and relax. Yeah. You
yeah, yeah.
deserve it. Yeah. Um, okay. That's all. Yeah. Okay. That's the cycle of life covered. What are we covering today, Baron?
Well, unless people have been living under a rock since this came out, which is a long time ago, obviously we're doing Peter Jackson's next film, the Meet the Feebles, which was his cracked dark mirror version of the Muppets, with a bit of The Godfather thrown in for good measure.
Yeah. Yeah. What a bizarre number. What a bizarre
Oh,
number.
look,
But it holds up well.
it does. It does. I don't
Yeah.
think it would be made today.
Oh no. Not right at the
This can,
moment, anyway. It would cause
yeah.
a splash. It would cause a stir. That's for
Oh
goddamn
yeah,
sure.
this can be quite nicely filed right next to Fritz the Cat.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm not mad at that. No, I'm not
Yeah.
mad at that at all. That's
Yeah.
cool. Yep.
Yeah, it certainly wouldn't be a studio film.
No, this was barely a film.
Yeah.
At the end, it was barely a film. But cult status out the
Yeah.
yayo. If you,
Yeah.
I won't even say if you know, you know, you know. People know this
Yeah.
film. I posted up on Facebook that we were watching this, and one of the biggest responses. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
People like this film. What do you think of this film?
Having watched it again recently, so I watched it this week, obviously for the podcast, because you don't want to just go on memory alone. It's terrible, but it is wonderful.
Yeah.
Um, it it's it's the cinematic equivalent of that drunk uncle that your mum tells you not to talk to at a family party.
Oh, with the aunt, with the drunk aunt along for the ride
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
Oh
It's
yeah,
both of them. It's both of
yeah,
them. Yeah.
yeah. They're swingers. They're swingers, and they tell everyone.
Absolutely. And they tell everyone, children are around, doesn't matter. They're
Yeah, yeah.
drunk when they arrive at the
Yes.
party.
Yeah, yeah. They get to the party drunk, and they're still in your house the next morning.
Mhm, mhm,
They
mhm.
slightly overstay their welcome. But look, I love Meet the Feebles. It has a wonderful, warm little place in my heart. Regardless, like anyone watching this from a critical standpoint that wants to think about
Oh,
camera angles
no,
and
no,
all
no,
that
no,
sort of
no.
thing, don't.
No.
It's just something it's an experience,
Yeah.
and I'm glad I experienced it again. It has been a while.
Um, yeah, no, you're right in terms of, don't analyze the mise en scène,
Oh,
anything like that. But do look at the puppets and
yeah,
be appreciative of the work that has gone into the
for
puppet work,
sure.
the puppetry, because the store looks really good today. And
Yeah,
considering this had, in film terms, no money. Yeah,
yeah,
because
yeah,
Bad Taste wasn't a box office smash. Uh, heads up. Uh, no money, but the characters are amazing because, of course,
yeah,
this started off once upon a time as an idea to mock the Muppets. Yeah,
yeah,
an adult mockery of the Muppets.
yeah.
And what did you think of the puppetry in 2025?
Revisiting it, I was prepared to be disappointed. I was thinking it's been a while. It's probably been over a decade since I've seen this. This is going to look like poo. And it didn't.
Hmm.
The puppets are really good. The puppets are equal to the Muppets. There, you can obviously tell that they haven't had the same budget, but
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
thing that they did with these puppets that they don't really do with the Muppets is there's a lot of little other small details that give you character for the puppets,
Hmm. Hmm.
which like
Hmm.
a lot of the Muppets, if you pulled them apart at their base, you could probably go, this body is from here, these eyes are from here, this nose is from here. None of
Hmm.
these puppets did that. They were all unique,
Hmm.
which is great. It shows an element of preparedness to be weird, and weird it was.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Considering, yeah, the limitation of the resources, the way they're able to create nuance with the characters, certainly with
Yep.
Wobbit, yeah,
Yeah.
making the hands very small, the eyes and head very big. So when he places it under his chin and looks all demure, it works amazingly,
Yeah.
and that still stands up really well today. And of course, this is due to Richard Taylor and Weta Workshop.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes.
They're really starting to come into their own with this.
Hmm. Yeah, and also shout out Taylor and Tanya Roger, who all worked on Jackson's subsequent films as well.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just read out the main summary of the film here. Meet the Feebles, also known as Frogs of War. There you go. Vietnam outside. Yep, that little
Yep.
segment. Yep.
Yep.
In New Zealand, also known as Frogs of War in New Zealand, is the film's English fake working title, is a 1989 New Zealand puppet musical black comedy. I agree with that. Directed by Peter
Yep.
Jackson, written by Jackson, Fran Walsh again. Yes,
Yep.
eternal collaborator. Stephen Sinclair and Danny Mulheron,
Yep.
who also performed the body of lead character Heidi the Hippo.
Yes, indeed.
So there's a tie into the Muppets, two pink leads played by men, Miss
Yep.
Piggy and Heidi the Hippo.
Yeah.
Okay. The plot follows a stage troupe of puppet animals in a perverse comic satire, and this is perverse, absolutely.
Mhm.
In contrast to the positive innocence and naive folly of the Muppets, it's got a little bit more to it than that, but for this, whatever. The Feebles largely present negativity, vice, and other misanthropic characteristics. The
Yep.
film is the first Jackson co-wrote with his future partner, Fran Walsh, with the two collaborating on all his subsequent films. Where the Workshop just read that out. It's directed um, and shot entirely by Peter Jackson. Yes.
Did you spot his cameo?
Oh, no, I wasn't looking for it. I always forget he does cameos in all of his films. Where was
Yeah.
he in this?
So he was in the audience as Morris, the alien from Bad Taste. He was in the alien.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, of course. Of course. Of course. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So he shot it all because that's his experience. He shot all of Bad Taste and all the, little experiments before that. And also he wanted to get a lens eye view of the puppets as well,
Yeah.
because it looks
Yeah.
different from different angles. He wants to see what the audience is viewing, the audience sees. That
Yeah.
totally makes sense. We've got Jim Booth as a producer with Jackson. What else do we need to mention here? Cinematography, Murray Milne, edited Jamie Selkirk, music by Peter Descent. Of course, it's produced by Wingnut Films. And now it's a budget. We'll get into the budget. The budget wasn't a lot. Yeah, there's a bit behind the budget. Yeah. Okay, I'm just bringing up any notes. Is there anything you want to bring up before we get into the
Yes.
plot, etc.,
I
please?
think it was about $750,000 US.
Yes, he went to the New Zealand Film Commission. Okay, okay. All I have is that he went to the New Zealand Film Commission and he said he needed 700K to make
Yep.
750K. They gave him 700K after many negotiations. They said
Mhm.
no at first because they were going like a feature film full of puppets. Are you crazy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, and then they saw Bad Taste. Went, yeah, okay, cool. No, but Peter went back and back and back because Peter's like that. And yeah, and they gave him 700K. This is New Zealand Film Commission. at this point. This is the only funding I've touched on at this point because there is other funding.
Yeah.
But Baron, did you want to touch on something?
I was just going to say they had their they got they requested their credit be taken off the end of the film. They didn't want to be
Oh,
associated with
I
it.
didn't know that. That's hilarious. Anyone who doesn't know, is New Zealand Film Commission. It's the big film body, institution, funding body in New Zealand. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're number one. And so that's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like made in New Zealand. No, it's not.
Yeah, no. No, we got nothing to do with this.
Just jump in at any time. These are just
Yeah, you're
notes.
right. You're right.
Brain Dead was already in pre-production at this time, but as I
Yeah.
mentioned, Bad Taste wasn't a box office smash, so he didn't have the funds, resources, or even experience at that time to pull that off. The kernel, popcorn, of the idea for MTF, Meet the Feebles, adult parody of the Muppets. It went from sketch to a proof of concept pilot. Yeah. So this thing is slowly growing. Yeah. Like mold
Yep.
in the fridge. And then Japanese investors came along. They became very interested in the project, excited for the project, and they proposed the idea of a feature film. Meet the Feebles
Hmm.
was born, pretty much.
Yep.
Okay. Work began at once. A story outline followed by a script were produced immediately after vigorous brainstorming. Okay, so there are lots of Muppets tie-ins. Yes, certainly at the start of the production. Yeah.
Yep.
I've mentioned a large pink lead played by a man. Most Muppets were animals. Yeah. But they were the type Henson Company would not fuck with, including
Yep.
flies. Yeah.
Yep.
Rats and
Walrus.
cockroaches, walrus, etc. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this
I think they
is
pretty clearly steered clear of the animals that the Muppets had out front, so that there
because
could be
yeah,
no legal, no one could go, that's
yeah.
Kermit. You can't have Kermit giving a blowjob to Rolf the dog. That's no. So that I think they steered clear of them on purpose.
They would have if they could. Certainly back then, I
Oh
reckons.
yeah,
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 yeah, I
yeah.
reckons back then.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's the same thing that the guys did with the boys, the comic book, The Boys. Now, because it's a TV show, there's a little bit more with more eyes on it now than there were. But back in the day, they sold the concept, tried to sell the concept to DC and make it Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, and DC went, no, we
Okay.
are not doing that.
Yeah.
So they had to
Yeah.
dig in and they had to change the characters. So they were analogs, but not the same. So I think I really like the way that Peter Jackson's done this with different animals.
hmm hmm It happens a lot in film, from Nosferatu to Meet the Feebles, doesn't it?
It does.
Who would have thought there would have been a connection? Yeah, so the fly is a big one in this film, of course, but we'll get into that. And now it
Yeah.
eventually became a warped commentary on the very worst parts of humanity, and it shows a day in the life of showbiz, of a theater
Yep.
troupe needing to put on a show that's going out live that night. That's the framing, yeah,
Yep.
for this film, yeah. So that's its development from a sketch to take the piss out of the Muppets to,
Yep.
yes, very day in the life of showbiz and only having a couple of innocent characters. Everyone else is a scumbag and they're pretty much left up to their own devices. That's
Yeah.
the setup, yeah.
Yeah.
Whilst you've got a director running around, Sebastian there to Peter's left with me looking at it, the director trying to put this together.
Yeah.
And the director saves the day in the best way, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. There's a TV show that the ABC in Australia did called The Ferals, and I saw an interview once where they the creators said that they took direct note of Meet the Feebles and went that we like that, so let's try and make a kids version for Australian TV.
The
So yeah, the TV show is
Ferals.
called The Ferals. It was in
Okay.
1995, 1994,
Okay,
I
about
think.
mid-90s, yeah.
Yeah. It is a much sanitized version, but it is still being the ABC, not a commercial, not necessarily a commercial product. But yeah, it's called The Ferals.
Have to have a look. Have to have a look. My posted up there, children. Okay. Now, Jackson has a great attention to detail. He is
Yeah.
quite obsessive, I discovered from a early stage of his career. Of course, it's seen in Lord of the Rings, yeah. But we see this obsessiveness play out in Meet the Feebles. Bad Taste was pretty much gun and run, yeah, shoot and run. He went a bit overboard, of course, with the masks in Bad Taste, but this one he really gets obsessive, yeah. Now, I've talked about the characters and also these nuances of the characteristics of the puppets helped to develop character, helped build character development, help build strong character arcs, that sort of thing. That's one bit of genius of this film I really appreciate. Yeah. That's what helps it stand out to
Yep.
this day, I feel. Yeah, we talked about the funding with New Zealand Film Commission. They took it off the credits. That's hilarious. Cast doubled up on characters, on the voices for
Yep.
characters, of course. Did you find,
Double,
did you,
triple.
yeah, absolutely, as you do. Did you find this out there, Baron, that Trevor the Rat was an impersonation of Hugh Laurie? Laurie, however you
Oh,
say his name, yeah?
you Laurie?
Yeah. And Winard, the skink, what is it, sick crocodile, whatever that thing's meant to be. Yeah.
The
The
um
drug,
the
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 junkie,
the Vietnam
knife
vet.
thrower. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Christopher Lloyd.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Dialogue was recorded in 3 days prior to shooting.
Wow.
Um, yeah, yeah. And basically, he directed the film twice because he just did it with voices, then he did it on the stage. Yes. But it
Okay.
really helped him to be able to close his eyes, hear the voices, and then see it play out in his head. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was more work, but it enabled a more efficient shoot. Jackson's attention to detail and the carnage candy of this film caused a lot of puppets to be scrapped, rebuilt, fixed,
Yeah.
and therefore a lot of money to be wasted.
Yeah.
This is throughout production. It was shot in St. James Theatre and shed number 11 of the railway yard. You know those places, Baron?
Yes. I've
Yeah,
been past both of them. So yeah,
yes,
I
same.
took a walk in Wellington past, yeah. It was just, yeah, it was great
Yeah,
to see familiar places.
absolutely. Yeah, I know both places. And I think I've rehearsed or even performed. I'm talking 15 plus 20
Mm.
years ago now, in one of
Yeah.
those sheds. It might have been 12 or 13. They're in number 11. Yeah, and I've been inside St. James, of course.
Yeah.
And that's at the end. You have Cuba Street, then you have that long street, which is pretty much, it's like Queen Street in
Yeah.
Wellington. And it gets to the end. You've got at the very end. Is that St. James?
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
That's,
And
yeah, okay.
then there's that little road to the side that leads up to the top of Mount Vic.
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
Bats
okay.
Theatre just off to the left there,
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with
just
you. Yeah, okay.
near the fire station.
Wellington
Um,
rules, children, if you've never been there. Yeah, if you ever go
Wellington's
to New
great.
Zealand, check it out. Yeah.
Love Wellington. Just an interesting note here. I'm looking at the voice cast, and two of the performers did eight voices.
Shit.
Um,
And they're all
the least,
distinct. Yeah.
yeah, the least number of voices the voice cast did. Mark Hadlow did one, two, three, did four voices.
Four's the
That's
least.
the least.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Wow. Good work. Good work. The Vietnam segment, Frogs of War. Now, that was
Mm.
shot in someone's backyard. That's the only other filming
Oh, goodness.
location. Yep. Filming was rushed, and this is getting near the end
Mhm.
of production. Jackson thought there would be a quick turnover time. Yeah, turnover time between shots. Yeah, because he's only got
Yeah,
one film behind him. Rookie mistake. Certainly with puppets on a stage. It's not just
yeah,
humans quickly go there, boom, 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 number ones, spectre ones, that sort of thing. No.
yeah.
They shot past the due date.
Yep. They went
They
over
ran out of
budget.
money at the end of the film, and they had to leave mistakes in
Yep.
before they could be fixed, and they just had to spit out whatever was left to the public. Yeah, and that's how the
Yeah,
film exists
yeah.
today. Peter
And it
Jackson
did
would
not make
cut.
money.
No, and Peter Jackson would cut off a limb rather than do that today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he shot the entirety of the film. I've talked about that. Marketing was terrible, particularly the
Yep.
trailer. It gives away the
Oh, yeah.
ending, shows it on the screen whilst there's the PSA voiceover saying, "Don't spoil the movie."
Yep.
It's quite absurd. The distributors didn't even really know what the film was or how to
Oh,
market it, so open to a very small run, small, selection of theaters. On the OG release, on its original release, what did it was it 8,000, I believe. Yes, no, sorry, 80,000. It made 8,000. It's ridiculous. 80,000, but still we're
yeah.
talking 750K. It's a
Yeah.
long
Yeah.
way away from that.
I don't think it even came out on the cinemas in Australia. Like the first I saw of it was on
No,
home
it
video.
was a year later, like a year and a half later.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And good segue, release dates. Now started off New Zealand, 1989, a year and a half later in Australia. And this
Yep.
has been staggered across the globe right up to 2022 in Uruguay.
Oh,
3 years ago, Uruguay.
it was being released at the cinema.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about cinema. I don't know if it's home media,
Oh, okay.
but being
Okay.
accessible, not online in that country. Yeah,
Yeah.
2022. And it's banned in Ireland to this day and always will be. I don't know why. Really? Ireland, you guys? I know your humor.
Yeah.
He saved his career with Brain Dead, though. Don't worry, children. He saved it with Brain Dead. As what do they call it in America? Dead Alive?
Yes, Dead Alive.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he didn't. None of his films made money until Lord of the Rings. Like
Okay, sure.
not even
Okay, okay.
The Frighteners made money. Like it got close, but it didn't make its marketing budget back. So he didn't make money as a filmmaker until the first Lord of the Rings film.
How did he get Lord of the Rings then? The script?
New Zealand.
New Zealand, big part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had Weta at that stage.
Yeah. That would have been a
Yeah,
help.
yeah. Still a big get then. He must have been like,
Oh yeah.
really? I've
Yeah.
got Lord of the Rings.
Maybe the studio wanted someone they thought they could control.
Possibly. I think I've talked to you about there's too much kissing and lose the dwarf suit that came in
Oh,
on the
yeah.
shoot one
Yeah.
day. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, he's fine now. I mean, Peter
Yeah.
Jackson's fine. He barely works anymore. He's that fine.
Yeah. Well,
uh,
he does stuff he wants to do, which is
yeah, he
great. That's
does.
where you want to
Yeah.
be as a director.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's the goal, Yeah. Home media, the company, I don't know who they are, it doesn't matter. Because they own the rights and they're not interested in the slightest in a legitimate home media release. But at the
Yeah.
same time, they also don't give a damn about enforcing copyright. That's why there is plethora, innumerable amount of shitty VHS, DVD copies, bad rips all
Yeah.
over the shop. I haven't gone back to check which version I watched recently, but there is a PAL pitched up version on YouTube, Dailymotion, etc. So when they
Okay.
come out and do the Meet the Feebles and it's all high pitched, no, it's Meet the Feebles. Do, 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 do.
Oh,
That's the proper version, yeah. Which I'll have to go back and check. But there is the 4K YouTube version that is up on
yeah.
YouTube at the moment. Um, and that's the best one to watch. The PAL pitching really doesn't make that much difference except in the songs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the version you watched, I imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the 4K,
Yeah.
it's on YouTube now. We'll link it.
Yeah.
We'll link it. And it's very good quality. The cult of Meet the Feebles and its legacy largely is due to the internet, yeah?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of obsessed fans that have kept it alive, but there's also a lot of reactors, YouTube reactors. Oh, that's gross, that's disgusting, that wouldn't be said, made today. There's a lot of
Yeah.
that on YouTube that has helped keep it alive, love it or hate it. Peter Jackson's cameo on the Muppets. Did you find this, Baron?
No.
Muppet movie. I'm not sure which one it is, but he comes in and he's talking to the band, yeah. And Peter Jackson's looking disheveled, haggard because they went out drinking, etc., on the night before with the Muppets. Sorry, with the Feebles.
Yep.
And they're like, oh no, no, yeah, that was a bad night. Yeah, let's not speak about that. Ooh, those Feebles, yeah. Something
Yeah.
along those lines. But we'll also post that up there, children. Yeah, it's available online. It's really cool. It's really cool.
Okay, so it was in the Muppets Mayhem.
There we go. There we go. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh no, I did see it. It didn't stick in my head though. But
Mhm,
yes.
mhm, mhm.
Oh yeah. Yeah, two of them are in witness protection, the rest are in
Yeah.
prison. So yes, for those people
Yeah.
that
Okay.
are going to look for it, so it's a TV show called Muppets Mayhem. It follows the band, the Electric Mayhem, trying to being told they have to release an album. So that it was in their contract that they had to release an album, but they never got around to it because they're all stoned all the time and blah blah blah. So yeah, so it follows the band doing their album, and there's a whole bunch of cameos. Like I think Weird Al Yankovic's in it, and obviously Peter Jackson. So there's a bunch of stars in it.
Do you have anything there, Baron, that you wanted to bring up?
Let me just have a quick look at my notes. I think we've covered most of the stuff. I mean, obviously at the time it was considered a video nasty or like
Sure.
terribly offensive. I remember being told to turn it off by my parents. I mean, I did keep watching it after they'd gone to bed or whatever. But yeah,
Of course.
they also didn't let me watch the young ones, so to them.
What?
Um,
Ah, criminal.
I liked that it felt like a darker version of the Muppets. Like it really, if anyone's watched the original Muppet show, it kind of did follow that formula
Mm,
of the
hmm.
show's coming on, you get to see before the show, then you get to see the show where obviously stuff goes wrong, they fix it, and then you get to see the end. I
Yeah.
really liked that they followed that formula and it made it feel familiar
Yeah. Yeah.
at the whole time looking at it through a darkened glass was kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know where I came across this back in the day, but at some point I became aware of the trilogy and just watched them in sequence pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's probably Alice in Wonderland video store. In Christchurch, shout out Nick Paris. Yeah. Best
Yeah.
video store once upon a time before the earthquakes in the world. I had
Okay.
friends who went over to London and said, yeah, there's no video stores over there that beat this. Yeah. Yeah, shout out Nick, and it's still going to this day. And he's got a Lumiere cinema in Christchurch, New Zealand. If you didn't know, it was decimated, destroyed, devastated by
Yeah.
big earthquakes about 15 years ago. Sounds like they've built themselves up again nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where they shot Heavenly Creatures coming soon.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I would have seen this through Terry's video in Ballina, New South Wales.
Okay.
I'd give them a shout out, but they're not there anymore. I
Okay.
did a bit of part-time work there for free rentals, which was
Nice.
kind of
Nice.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But they got closed down because Terry wasn't actually called Terry. I don't remember. I think he just bought the business and it was called Terry's Video, so he kept the name. But he introduced home delivery. You could call the shop and he would go out in his
Uh-huh.
car and deliver the video to your house. Turns out he was also delivering, let's call them herbal remedies in foil.
All you need is chocolate brownies, and there, that's a whole bundle.
So yes, yeah, he got caught for distributing marijuana uh,
If you'd only
under the guise.
waited 20, 30 years.
No, I've told people this story forever, but yeah, no, yeah, that
That's
was
great.
fun.
That's
But
great.
it was great. I loved working in a video shop. It was excellent. I could just sit there
Oh,
and talk to people and put movies on. It was brilliant.
yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, man. Sorry, old person corner. I miss those times though of basically just meeting people, just going to the video
Yeah,
store or the record
yeah,
store and just
yep.
meeting people, not organizing it beforehand. You just knew
No,
you were going to meet people there. Yeah.
someone would be there that would be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, yeah. So that's the setup for Meet the Feebles. That's all the information, I think.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah,
reckon, Baron?
yeah. I would agree. That's certainly the setup.
Hmm.
I don't think I've got anything else that we haven't covered. They
Okay.
did put the disclaimer on the end, which is the producers wish to advise that no puppets were harmed in the production of the movie or something like that.
Well, shall we see? Shall we have a look at the plot here in
Yeah,
Wikipedia? Anything
let's
that
go.
they've missed that comes to mind? Yeah, just
Yeah.
bring it up. All
Oh,
right.
and children, if you haven't seen it, we are going to
Yeah,
spoil
yeah,
the
yeah,
fuck out of
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Go and watch it, come back to us,
Mhm.
or discover it as we speak it to you.
Yes, exactly. But if you want to do the former, just go to our Facebook page. The link is there
Yeah.
for the 4K YouTube. Okay, they are called the Feeble Variety Hour Theatre Troupe. Now, they are rehearsing with hopes of finding success through being picked up for a syndicated television show. Yeah.
Correct.
Once upon a time, that was the goal because you got money for the rest of your life, basically,
Yep.
a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen anymore. Star singer Heidi is insulted by pornographic director Trevor. Trevor the Rat. What do we think of Trevor?
I like Trevor. He's a go-getter.
Yes,
Um,
one way to put it. Yeah.
but any of those people, he's a that like the Terry Pratchett novels. He's very much cut me own throat dibbler. He's got his fingers in every pie he can possibly get them into. Drug supply, pornography, the theater. Like, yeah, he's a go-getter. He's
Yeah,
an
an
entrepreneur.
entrepreneur. Yeah. Okay, we have star singer Heidi the hippo. Yeah.
Yes.
Now she complains to her boss about Trevor. The boss is also her lover, Bletch the walrus. He's the head of the company. What do they
Yeah.
call it? Artistic director in theatre?
Yeah.
That's the top spot. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Bletch is having an affair with Samantha, the hot cat.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. There's a lot of theatre troupe tropes in this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just say that.
Romances.
Yes. Okay. Right. Robert, the troupe's newest
Yes.
member, arrives. He's an adorable little hedgehog, porcupine, and he arrives at the theatre and immediately falls in love with newcomer Lucille. Lucille's a poodle.
A poodle. Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
poodle.
Yeah. Yeah.
On on
White
first
hair, big
watch,
eyes.
first watch, I thought she might have been a sheep, but that was on a very small television. So yeah.
After Arthur, the show's manager. Yeah, he's the stage manager. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, stage
Yeah. Yeah.
manager,
Yeah.
yeah, the worm, yes, Arthur.
And he's your wise, friendly old uncle type, I guess. Yeah.
I did like the way that they shot his puppet with the lights. So it always looked like he had stars in his eyes.
Yeah, it did. It very much did. Yeah. Very approachable. Very approachable. Yeah. So Robert has fallen in love with Lucille,
Yep.
but has no game whatsoever.
None.
Does
Zero.
Robert? None whatsoever. So Arthur helps Robert to serenade Lucille, and the
Yep.
two become engaged.
Yay. And roll credits.
That's it. No, because we have Samantha the cat who scornfully reveals to Heidi her relationship with Bletch. This is jumping around all over
Yes.
the place. Doesn't matter. Animal tamer Sid is visited by his ex-girlfriend Sandy, who reveals he has a son named Seymour.
Sid is the elephant
Yes.
and Sandy is a chicken.
Yes. And then Arthur looks at the baby.
Seymour.
Seymour, thank you. And and then looks up at Sid and says, well, he has your eyes, and it's blue, it has a big trunk. It's
Yeah,
sitting there
it's a
making
chicken
elephant
with an elephant
noises.
face.
Yeah, yeah. Bletch and his henchman Barry consummate a drug deal with dealer Cedric. There's one of the little entrepreneurial side jobs. Star Harry is suffering from an unknown illness diagnosed
Harry the
as
rabbit.
terminal. Harry the rabbit, the horny rabbit. Yeah.
Horny rabbit.
Yes. Basically, they're seen having orgies in a dressing room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
That's a stereotype.
yes, there's another trope. Okay, but the whole funny thing with this is the way that this is the illness is treated. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the big one, but it's never said.
Yeah.
It's never said what it is.
Behind
Please.
me, that's
Mhm.
that's the rabbit, mid disease.
Now we have the reporter F.W. Fly. Yeah, we talked about
Yeah.
flies before. This is great because we literally have the media eating shit
Yeah,
in
yeah,
this, yeah, as a visual metaphor. It is so on the nose. It is fantastic. He ultimately reports the rabbit's illness to the tabloids, of course. Now, Robert is reassigned to assist drug-addicted knife thrower Winard. Yeah?
yeah. So before that, though,
Yeah, please set it
Wynyard
up, set it up.
has killed his assistant.
Mhm.
So at the start of the film, we see him kill his assistant. So he needs a new assistant. So our porcupine friend behind Mr. Popcorn there becomes his new assistant, his new target, so to speak.
And remember that Winard is a chronic junkie. Yeah, basically, he will
Yep.
take anything, reanimate a level of just
Oh yeah.
stick me with it. Yeah.
Yep. Don't care what it is.
Yeah. Now, he reveals to Robert that he is a Vietnam veteran and
Yep.
convinces Robert to give him money for drugs under the pretext of charity. And that's where we get Frogs of War flashback here.
Yep. Correct. In the
Yeah.
backyard.
How do we feel about this whole
It
bit?
it was very much in the zeitgeist at the time. So when
It
you think
was.
about films like Full Metal Jacket
Yeah.
and all that sort of stuff, like Vietnam War was big, and it was getting to that point where it retreated far enough into memory to become history, and people were getting a bit more confident parodying the war,
Mhm.
or turning it into societal comment. And I think
Yeah.
that's the big thing with this performance of the character is it's societal comment, and it's parody of those other big Into the Heart of Darkness and Full Metal
Yeah.
Jacket and all that sort of stuff.
There's they literally do Russian roulette straight out of Deer
Yeah,
Hunter, and it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
one
yeah.
of
Straight out
yeah,
of Deer Hunter. Yeah,
yeah. Anytime you see a movie with a Russian roulette scene, that's what it's taking it from, is
yeah,
Deer Hunter.
correct. Yeah,
Yeah. And also I did appreciate the way because Jackson himself has stated that this is a satire, yes, with many levels of irony.
yeah,
And when you're looking at the racial slurs that happen during the Frogs of War segment, you also on the flip side having them through a discourse break down bourgeois capitalist ideologies as well at the same time.
yeah, yeah,
Vietnamese, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So it's so I'm not going to say balance, but it is an intentional, ironic look at the situation in 1990,
yep,
1989. Yeah, yeah, cool. Okay. Now, Bletch expresses dissatisfaction with Trevor's latest porn film, and Trevor sets his sight on Lucille as his new porn star. Trevor is a piece of shit. This is real
Trevor is
grimy.
terrible.
Yeah. Trevor drugs and tries to rape Lucille. Yes, this is
Yeah,
how far this movie does go. But it's
uh-huh.
caught by Robert, believing that Lucille has made a move on Robert and that she was dwinking. You are dwinking. You're a lush. You're a loose
Yeah,
lush.
yeah,
Yep. Uh,
yeah,
has made a move on Trevor. Robert disowns her after a poor rehearsal and lambasted by director Sebastian. Heidi rushes to Bletch for emotional affirmation. Bob
yeah.
walks in on him with Samantha. Heidi refuses to perform, but relents after Bletch feigns attraction to her. This plot
Yes,
breakdown is jumping around, but this film does jump around.
it
Yeah.
does. It
We've
does.
got about
It's
seven
not a
subplots, and we just
yeah,
visit them pretty much in random.
randomly.
Yeah, yeah,
It would
exactly.
be interesting to separate the subplots out and just have them as separate stories.
And I guess Heidi and Bletch is the main storyline that creates the overall
Yeah.
arc of the narrative. Yeah.
And
Which
causes the
tie
conflict at the end.
at the end, it ties the whole troop together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it does read fairly coherently when you watch it
Yeah, yeah.
as well.
Eventually.
Yeah, just if you're just discovering this for the first time.
Yeah.
Okay. Cedric's drugs are delivered, but turn out to be borax. Now, traveling to the docks to retrieve the actual drugs, but takes place on drugs. Some wonderful miniature work. You know, that limousine was
Yep.
entirely miniature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great work. Yeah. But they had to get
Because
the
they
puppets
run
in
it
it. It
through a
had to
puppet.
drive. It had to skid. Sorry, after you.
Yeah. I was going to say they drive it through a puppet.
They drive it through like Jonah and the Whale style. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is great.
Look
It
for
is
the
great.
light. Look for the light.
Yeah.
Am I
Yeah.
going left or right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now at the docks. with Cedric retrieving the drugs. Bletch, Trevor, and Barry kill Cedric and his associates, but
Yep.
Barry is killed in the process. Okay. After seeing a newspaper article about Harry's illness, Bletch retaliates by killing Fly. Lucille tries to convince Robert of her love for him, but he tells her he never wants to see her again.
Again, never again.
It's cute as fuck. Heidi's
Yeah.
successful performance grants the Feebles approval for a syndicated television show.
Yay!
Yes. Heidi attempts to seduce Bletch, but Bletch confesses to Heidi that he hates her and wants to give her role to Samantha. He says that he's grooming her for the starring role.
Yeah, literally says the word grooming.
He does. Heidi mentally breaks down. She's
Much
going to take
does.
herself out, but she has a better idea, doesn't she, Baron?
Yeah. Well, she
Yeah.
gets a better idea. So she's in the process
Mhm.
of, she tries to hang herself, and then she finds an M60 machine gun with a full rack of ammunition and
Mhm.
decides she's going to use that to blow her head off.
Mhm.
And then she's interrupted by Samantha. She's interrupted by Samantha. And then that's when she gets the idea to turn. And Samantha says, "Oh, you'll have trouble shooting yourself in the head because the safety is still on." And so she turns the
Yeah,
safety
that's
off,
right. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
goes to leave, and that's when Heidi turns the M60 machine gun on pretty much everyone in the cast. Like
Mhm.
she wanders
Samantha
her
to
way.
begin with, of course, and
Oh
then
yeah, blows her
yes, yeah,
away.
yeah.
But yeah, there's some wonderful extended scenes of a giant um hippo puppet person wandering through the backstage of a theater, just blowing people away and mowing them down with an M60 machine gun, like she's Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Very
it's
much so. Very much so. Heidi goes on a shooting spree throughout the theater, killing many of the troupe. Harry is killed after finding out his illness is not terminal.
yes, it's just rabbit pox.
Yeah, yeah. But he is thrown up everywhere. It's covered in
Yeah,
the pox. He is oozing.
yeah,
He is dripping. Okay, where was I up to? Sid is shot of the kneecaps while saving Seymour after Sandy is killed, and Sebastian hides in Harry's giant carrot rocket, which
yep.
crashes in the chaos.
Hmm.
Robert rescues Lucille from being shot and professes that he still loves her, as
Yep.
Lucille tells her the truth about Trevor. Bletch attempts to talk Heidi into surrendering, but she opens fire on him. An injured
Yep.
Bletch proclaims that he loves Heidi before Trevor incapacitates her with a shotgun.
Yep.
Bletch orders Trevor to Bletch orders Trevi to kill Heidi, but Robert intervenes by colliding with Trevor, allowing Heidi to shoot him dead. Bletch lunges at Heidi, but is killed too. Arthur tells Heidi that he has regrettably informed the police. Heidi accepts this and makes a last request for her musical number to be played, of
Yep.
course. Now, a photographic postscript reveals that Sid had surgery on his kneecaps and works in an orchard as a struggling horticulturalist with his son Seymour. Arthur received an OBE, which is the most excellent order of the British Empire, for his lifelong service to theatre and retired to the country. That is our stage manager.
Yep.
Sebastian, the
Which he
director,
deserved.
yes, achieved worldwide fame for his bestseller, The Feeble Variety Massacre, one man's act of heroism, and is currently negotiating the film rights. Of course, Wikipedia, shame on you, you left out the best part of the film, in my opinion. Sebastian is going, I've got a
The
song,
song?
I've got a number that will
No, you
save the
can't do
whole
the
show.
song. It's a
Yeah,
terrible. No, you
no.
will not do that song.
And he does it anyway near the end because the show is obviously doomed. So I'm going to have my moment. And
And
we have a fox on stage with giant phallic singing sodomy, sodomy, and it's cinematic,
the song, the
theatrical
song in the credits is
genius.
literally called Sodomy.
Yeah. When I saw this when I was young, it was like, oh, this is cinema. This is comedy. This is one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, for
Yeah.
anyone that's interested that likes that kind of thing, the soundtrack was actually released in 1991. There are 24 songs on it, and it's a total of 46 and a half minutes worth of songs.
Soundtrack. They'll be on
Uh,
Spotify or something.
Composed by a guy called Peter Dasent.
Okay. Peter
New Zealand
Dace.
composer, pianist, and songwriter. Lived and worked in Sydney, Australia since 1981. Chaz Group. Oh, he worked on Play School in Australia. But he
Okay.
worked on Meet the Feebles, Brain Dead, and Heavenly Creatures.
Oh, he did have Heavenly Creatures as well.
Yeah,
The score for that was quite good.
it was, yeah. Very different
Um,
to this.
yeah, okay. Robert and Lucille are married with two children, with Robert now an award-winning fashion photographer. That's right. He was a little fashion photographer. He was a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
photographer. Yeah, a little Ansel Adams for a woman's magazine. Now, after serving 10 years in a female penitentiary, Heidi has been rehabilitated into the community and works under a new identity on the checkout of a supermarket.
Huh.
Okay, and that's pretty much it. Yeah.
I did find where I read the about the film commission. So, an initial application for film commission money was rejected by executive director Jim Booth, who a short time later became Jackson's producer. The commission eventually granted
I
the
see.
production
I see.
two-thirds of its budget. The
Mhm.
relationships between the funders and the production soured, and the film commission removed its credit from the film.
Hilarious. Did Booth go on to Lord of the Rings production, producing?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. He
Yeah,
hasn't got a link, so we'll have a look.
because Fran
It's
Walsh did, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's often mistakenly stated that there are no human characters in the film. The character Abby is a human, however, there are no real life human characters in the film.
The Abbey. Who was Abbey?
I
I don't
don't
remember.
know.
I don't remember seeing an actual human.
Abby.
Because there was a lot of poor lighting in this film that couldn't be
Oh
fixed, like
yeah.
in the audience and behind this curtain, backstage.
All right, let's see.
Interesting, interesting. Okay.
Not
We're
listed.
gonna Brain Dead's next, their children, of course.
Yes, I'll be doing Brain
Yeah,
Dead.
yeah, yeah. Please do, please do. Yeah, cool.
Huh. Might have to go back and look for the human. Find the human.
So what do we
Yeah,
reckon
no,
at the end of the day?
look, it's fine. It's like I said, it's terrible and it's wonderful. The
Hmm.
fact that it
Hmm.
exists, the fact that it was made is amazing.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
gave us like it's Peter Jackson's baby steps. Probably becoming a toddler at this point, more sort of a teen when it comes to like the Frighteners,
What
and then
teen? Oh yeah,
yeah,
sure,
then he
sure. Yeah, toddler, sure.
then he's in his adulthood with the Lord of the Rings films and further on. I'm going to give it a 3.5 only because it's got so much nostalgia for me. Like it's a terrible film. It's badly made. There are plot holes. There are obstacles in the world of the Feebles, and their dark, cracked awfulness is just beautiful to see.
Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely is. And that dark crack beauty is what appeals to me about this film, definitely. The humor is excellent.
Yeah,
And the irony is on point, definitely. And the puppets still look really fucking great.
yeah.
And I
I
cherish
think I'm going to
the
put it up to a 4 because of the
yeah,
puppets.
yeah, yeah, because I'm at a four.
Yeah.
I'm definitely at a four. Um, because not a lot of the time I go for the B grade comedy horror schlock fare, but when it
Mm.
hits, it really does hit. This is up there with Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part Two for me. And speaking
Okay.
of such films, yeah, of that ilk, and yeah, so that's why I'm definitely going to give it a four. Yeah, no, this film for its
Yeah.
nostalgia and its funniness is delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you haven't seen it, please do.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. Like, and
Yeah.
don't be frightened to stop it and walk away if you're feeling the ick. That's
Hmm.
fine. But go back
Hmm.
to it. It's worth seeing all the way through. Um, you can probably double screen it. You can probably have your phone open and be doom scrolling while you're watching it because there are some nice moments that will jump out if you need to be distracted by the real world. But yeah, um, and it's fine on the small screen.
Yeah,
I think I
yeah,
would like to
totally.
see it on the big screen, but I don't think there's a print of it left that exists that can be played on the big screen.
Yeah, well, that would be something to get, wouldn't it? Yeah,
Yeah,
to screen, it really would.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a Kiwi treasure. It is a Kiwi treasure,
it
and
really is.
definitely look forward to seeing how, yeah, He feared with Brain Dead, you know, how everything is built up from bad taste to this to Brain Dead, definitely.
Yeah.
Because it's been a long time since I've watched that one as well.
Mm.
To that end, do you want to shout anything out, recommend anything?
Yeah. Okay. So well, as always, Act React Theatre, Improv Queensland, IFWG Publishing. Um, the Splatfest is coming up, whether this is out before
Hmm.
then or not. But yeah,
Yeah.
Splatfest at Evil Corp is
Yeah.
coming up. So I'll be there, and we'll do some recordings of the panels,
Hmm. Hmm.
and we'll look at putting those out.
Hmm. Yes, Evil Corp, Escape Manor. Recommendation, Severance, TV
Oh
show.
yeah,
Yeah, have you
yeah.
seen it, Baron?
I've seen the first season. I haven't started watching the second season yet.
Second season's not out. There's only one. Two's coming, if I'm
Yeah,
not mistaken.
I'm sure someone said that season two had started
If you are a fan of
today.
Wes,
Today, literally today. It's season
he is running around the room
so
excitedly
season two.
with his arms in the air because Baron, I just finished season one, the final episode. I watched it last night. Yes, I can
Yeah, yeah.
continue on after work tonight. Brilliant. If you like Black Mirror, if you like Wes Anderson, if you have ever worked in a goddamn office, if you like
Yeah.
mystery that slowly reveals, but the reveals are what the fuck moments, then eventually make sense as things progress. Severance is for you, yeah? John
Yeah.
Turturro's in it, Christopher Walken is in it. It's absolutely fantastic. If you're a fan of smart, stylish sci-fi, get on it now.
Yep.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
agree. Getaway. It's a new Norwegian horror film
Okay,
with Nick
okay.
Frost and Ash
Hmm.
B. It's a slasher. It's also not a slasher. It's Norwegian horror.
Okay.
It's gorier than you think. It's funnier than you think, and it has twists in it that M. Night Shyamalan would not even get close to thinking about.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
would I would definitely recommend it. I have now watched it twice.
And what's it called again?
Getaway.
Yeah, anything else? Watch all of our stuff, follow all of our stuff at Evil Popcorn Pod. But thank you for, being seated with us and eating all of the delicious popcorn, children of the popcorn. We appreciate you, of
We do.
course. Yeah, good enough, children.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being seated. And
Yes.
eat all of your popcorn, Baron.
Yeah. Go to bed, children. Go to bed.
Otherwise, FW Fly will fly up your anus and find out all of your secrets.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I love it when you're evil.